What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great Tuesday evening. Hope you can hear me okay. As you can see, Wayne is still out in California with his dad, who's not doing well. So keep sending the prayers, guys. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. But anyway, I have been sitting here tonight messing with stuff in here myself. Um, Wanted to give a special shout out to a good friend of mine and also a excellent sponsor to our channel, and that is Dave over at Dave's RC Electronics. If you need anything for your planes, guys, from retract controllers to lights or whatever, Dave's got it. And if you don't, he can make it for you. The reason I'm saying that is because the T28 sitting back here, been trying to get some work done with it. As you well know, Wayne and I were having problems with the original retract controller that Dave had sent out to me. The doors and the gear were not sequencing properly. The sequencer opened and closed the doors properly with the right delays, but then the gear wanted to come up after the fact and it wasn't working properly. So I reached out to Dave on the phone, great guy to talk with. And he sent me a couple of other retract controllers right here that we think may work. And if not, we're going to bypass the entire JP controller with this setup right here, which will give me everything from the controller to the gear door sequencer. And he sent this stuff out to me very quickly and told me he thinks this will fix the problem if this smaller version doesn't work. So either way, we're going to figure it out and hopefully get this thing broke in because I'm ready to fly this airplane. It's killing me. So that will be coming up hopefully soon. And if we can, once Wayne gets back, we can get everything worked out. We will get that done so you guys can see it as well. Also been piddling on the A10 right here. I told you guys I don't like the black servos, so I have been painting them. And I've got a pretty spot-on match for the color. If any of you guys are interested or you need to touch up your plane, you crash it, whatever, you booger it up. This is a product from Walmart. This is Apple Barrel paint, and it's about, I don't know, $1 a bottle, which will last you a very long time. It is in acrylic paint, and it is called Timeless Gray, and it is a pretty dead ringer for that A10 paint. So if any of you guys need that gray, Timeless Gray at Walmart, you can get a bottle of for 75 cents to $1. You can't beat it. Their paints are great and they work great. Sometimes you can use them through an airbrush if you thin them down properly, but you just got to get your consistencies right. So with that, as you guys well know, we're having David Kelly come on the show tonight, and we're going to talk about his massive, huge B-17 that he has been restoring. That only a few kits of this model put out, only a few are left. Tim, look at you. We need sunshine, man. We've had over 3 inches of rain in 2 days, and it's pouring right now. So thanks for that sunshine, man, as always. But so yeah, like I said, we're going to have David Kelly here tonight. I think he's standing by. I don't see him on camera. I don't know if he's having a bad connection. He is out in the Ozarks, as he said, literally. And so he might be having some bad connections issues. So we're going to try to pull him in here and talk about the B-17, what he's doing with it. Like I said, there weren't many of these made. There's only a few left, and he's actually got the privilege of having one. I think he said these were made back in the 80s, but with each wing panel being over, I think he said 8 feet, and then the fuselage is 16 inches. Well, you guys do the math. This is a big airplane. So let me just see if I can get him in here. Let's see. David, are you there? There he is. There he is. How you doing tonight,
there all that. I'm doing. I can't
complain. You doing all right, man?
Doing great.
Good deal. You said you were having some bad weather out there.
Oh no bad weather in the Ozarks. Nope, it's been fantastic weather.
Oh, well, that's good because all we're getting here is rain for the past several days and probably tomorrow as well. So, but we went from having no rain to all of it at one time. That's how it works in North Carolina. And we've also had nothing but wind for the past, I don't know, it seems like 6 or 8 months, man. And I've never seen it this windy here for this long. So yeah, no fun when no flying when you got crazy wind like this. So how about you? What you been working on, man? Tell us about it.
Well, I think the last time you see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think the last time we talked, I had the fuselage on the table here, and the wing panels had never ever been on the board. So since we last talked, I've gotten started on the wings. Let's see, this is the right wing. It's in two pieces, and I've got all the mechanicals in. Have not tested anything yet, but it's all in. So I've had a lot of fiberglass and stuff to repair / remodel because the other builder or builders had different plans for what they were going to do versus what I wanted to do. So when I pick up the camera and move around, I'll show you a lot of the modifications I made. So,
well, give us a little bit of
good airplane.
Give us a little bit of back history on this plane.
Okay, it's a company that goes by the name of Model Effects.
Okay.
They did special effects for Hollywood motion pictures. And back in, I think it was about 88 and 89, they built 4 or 5 of these airplanes. 2 were flyables. 3, as I understand it, were static for the movie Memphis Belle.
Okay.
For damages where they could blow up an airplane, or you could see a B-26 that had crash landed and burned. That was the models they burned. But the 2 RC airplanes, one still exists, I guess, and that's in California, and that's the one that I was flying about 5 years ago. So, anyways, when I made the move to the Ozarks, I did not have a shop, so I sold that to an outfit in California, and then I let Phil Clark in the United Kingdom with Fighter Aces know that I was on the lookout for another one, and he located one. It had been started and never finished. Truthfully, I think the build was a little over the head of the builder based on what some of the stuff I have found. But anyways, after inspection, decided to take it back to its original bones as it would have come out of the factory of Model Effects and bring it back to life. So like I said last time, the fuselage was complete and with the front end all detailed and so on. This week I got after the wings. I've had 2 engines installed and the gear.
And what engines are you putting in it?
Engines are the Stinger 40 twin cylinders.
Okay.
The other airplane I had flew on Zenoa G45s, and it powered it very well. And based on the specs of this engine, it swings the same prop at a little more RPM, so it should not have any issues at all flying the airplane relatively well. Scale, it's not going to be doing loops and barrel rolls like that B-29 with 120s in it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I get you. What about servos in the wings? What size are you having to go with there?
Servos, I'm running all analog servos. They are Futaba giant scale servos. They are 3306 MGs.
Wow.
They put out about, as I recall, at 6 volts, close to 350 ounce inches of torque, and which is more.
Okay, I'm losing your signal.
More than enough for the airplane. So, did you get the servos?
A little bit. You were breaking up on me there or something.
Okay, I'm in a better spot. Okay,
Okay.
go back to servos then. So the servos are, what's that?
It's kind of everything was froze up for a second, but you're good now.
Okay. Uh, Let me step outside. Maybe this metal shop building is got something to do with that. Anyways, the servos are Futaba 3306. They're about 350 ounce inch servos, and based on the mechanics we have, uh, the mechanical advantages we have built into that, they are more than enough ounce inch torque to fly the model quite safely. The one I had prior, where it was an old Futaba system in it and quite a bit less servo torque.
Okay.
So we're going to be real happy with this one. It'll have a power box Royal for the system controls, which obviously then gives you dual receivers, dual battery, and
Right.
about as I recall, 16 completely programmable servo slots. So it should be in very good airplane. Very good
Yeah.
airplane.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty. Everything's got to be pretty big to fly those big wings, man. I mean, it's got to be able to handle the load.
Yeah, yeah.
How much
It,
you thinking it's going to weigh total once it's finished?
the other one was 123 pounds, so we made the restriction of under 125, and I expect this one to be less, but you never know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the other airplane had the magneto engines in it, and this has got electronic ignition. So I think the modern engine should be much less weight than the
Right.
G45s.
Right.
And when I did all that interior work up front, the floor that's in the nose for the bombardier compartment, I made for ballast. So there's probably about 8.5 pounds of ballast up in the nose already.
Okay.
And so I think we're going to be well within the less than 125 pounds.
Wow. It's still a heavy plane.
They fly like a big trainer. They really do.
Well, when you say bigger flies better, so you know.
Yeah, well, the weight gives it stability from the visual effects.
Yeah.
It's not bouncing around too bad. I do not use gyros. It flies very stable without.
Okay.
We've had a GoPro hooked up to the tail before on the other one we flew, and it was just minimal flight control surfaces to fly the airplane as far as movement. To live within that 45-degree bank angle that the AMA puts you in, you don't see the surfaces move but about 1/8 of an inch up and down
Wow.
to get it into the bank. So it's a very gentle flyer, very gentle.
Wow. So, what events are you going to be attending this year to showcase your plane?
We hope to have it test flown and inspected by July. Mid-August is the first thing we have on the list, and that is the Southern Minnesota. What do they call it? NAMFI, Northern Alliance Military Fly-In.
Okay.
So that's a great field for this. It's probably 1,000 foot of very nice grass out in the middle of a farm field.
Okay.
Probably 400 feet wide. So if you can't hit a field like that, then you shouldn't be flying.
Exactly. No kidding. Yeah, that's
And
right.
then I want to be down at Houston for Bomber Field.
Yep.
I think that's September.
Yep.
And then also we want to hit Georgia the Dino DiGiorgio Senior fly, and that's later part of October. So
Okay.
the wife and I will be on the road quite a bit come September and October, and spend a little time with the older brother in San Antonio area. So we'll be
Okay.
vacationing a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds nice, man. Wish you could come to our Big Bird Warbird Classic that we have.
Well,
Yeah, ours will be at the end of September, and we have warbirds out there, like I said, that are 50% scale. So it'd be a good time. Our runway is about 1,000 feet by 150, 200, something like that. So
yeah,
and it's really
I've
nice.
had that other airplane in a 600-foot field, and it was fairly comfortable.
Wow.
My B-26 is probably 800 to 900 foot of ground roll to get it off the ground.
Wow.
So this airplane flies much gentler than that B-26.
Okay. Well, can you show us some things you've done to it?
The wing loading is much better.
Yeah.
Sure, let me go inside. Hope this reception stays good.
Yeah.
First thing I'll do is show you the gear.
Yeah. And what type gear are you going with in this?
You know, they are one-offs. They were made in Germany. It's a very high-grade steel, real good aluminum billet down there for the main trunnion. The cylinder, I don't recall the name right now. The sticker's on the bottom side, but it's a industrial cylinder and
Wow.
can run on air or hydraulics for the
Huh.
type of fitting that it has.
Wow.
Run the wheel off there.
That's a big. That's
Next
a
thing
big
I'll do
tire.
is get this. What's that?
I said that's a big wheel. Looking at your hand on top of it.
Oh yeah. So I'll pull this cowling. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to hold a phone or camera and work on something. Trust me.
So there's the lower half of the cowling. And you can see all this filling in I've been working on, glassing and Bondo.
Yeah, that looks nice though.
That this had G38s in it, so the cutouts were all different for this. I'll come over to this other side. You can see where the gas tank will be sitting.
Wow. What
There's
size
the,
tank? What size tank will you have on it?
I think they're about 22 ounces each, something like that, which is probably 25 minutes of flight time.
Gracious. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So not that I want to fly it for 25 minutes at a time, but
yeah, I get it.
yeah. So here's the
We lost your sound there, David. Thank you. Uh-oh. We've lost David. His signal must have gotten bad. See if we can't get him back in here in just a second. Maybe he can get his signal back. I really want to see this airplane, man. That thing's massive. You got to have patience, man, to work on stuff like that for that long. And fiberglassing and sanding and Bondo, and that's a lot of work. I mean, I feel like fixing a dent in a foam airplane is a lot of problem, or rewrapping a balsa plane or whatever is a lot of problem. But gosh. All right, David, come on. Where you at? There he is. I think your mic is muted. Got no sound. Your mic is muted. I can't hear you. I don't know how he muted his microphone unless he cut the volume off on his telephone. I don't know if that did it or not because I think that's what he's using.
How about now? Is that better?
Now, yeah, there you go.
Huh.
Now, there we go.
So
All
how
right.
much of that could you not hear?
Well, we lost you right after you started, got the cowl off and started showing us some stuff in there.
Okay. I'll be a little bit more careful, get my hands away from the controls a little bit.
Hey,
So
that's why
anyway,
Wayne asked me why I don't film videos when I'm here by myself. I'm like, man, I can't hold a camera and do all this stuff at the same time.
yeah.
Tough.
So anyways, both of the cowlings set up about the same with gas tank sitting inside the wing and the rest of the hardware sitting on the backside of the firewall. I'll come over here to the root of the wing and you can see the way it was made with the foam.
Okay.
These spars, that's a very high quality maple plywood. There's two of them, and that they run full span with webbing and hollowed out foam cores. So if I didn't have the engines in this airplane, I don't think these wings weigh but maybe 30 pounds a piece.
Dang, that's amazing.
So that's
And
good.
have you been able to tell how much weight you're adding with the fiberglass and everything?
This is not fiberglass, believe it or not.
Okay.
That's Lexan.
Ah, okay.
Lexan sheets that's bonded to the foam.
Wow. So do you have to heat that up or anything to get it to adhere?
No, I think that's the way it came from the factory.
Oh, okay.
I did not do that. I don't have most of the remodeling is in the mechanicals, the engines and the nacelles, because they had them all cut up. And the fuselage. The fuselage was probably 70 to 75% of the work that's going into this airplane.
Right. I got you.
Being a big foam wing that's already been sheeted, to a certain degree, it's almost like an ARF when you're working on the wing.
So will you paint it, spray it? What are you going to do for a coat?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Whoever primed this did not do a good surface prep, so I got to take all the primer off, and it comes off in bucket loads. It just
wow.
You can remove it quite easily. So anyway, once that's done, and I'm down to the Lexan material, I've got some seams I need to hide. I'll walk down here. You can see the seams.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's got to sand and get all blended in. This area of the wing right in here, I mentioned that Phil Clark of Fighter Aces in the UK, he's the one that located this for me. We visited about what it was going to take to get it crated and shipped to the US. And he said, it's too bad those wings are not in two pieces, because that'd make your crate much smaller.
Sure.
Yeah. And I said, well, what would it take to split the wing? And Phil, he says, all it takes is money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
that's
anyways,
right.
He did a very, very nice job. Him and his crew, they cut the wing in the scale location of where the Fortress comes apart in full scale, right here at the flap and aileron.
Okay.
And he put in, these are stainless, I believe. But anyway, you can see right here how far back they went in. They put in more shear web and these plates. In fact, I'm going. These plates have a receiver right on there, and there's a pin, a steel pin that goes all the way through the wing, and you see this same setup here on the reverse side. So you can't crush it with that steel hollow pin in there.
Right.
And then it's all tied on both sides of the spars with shear web and lots of glue and fasteners. And anyways, they've done a lot of their big models like that with great success. So that's going to be a good deal. That this airplane.
That's very nice to be able to take it apart like that.
Yeah, very much so. So anyways, one servo in the aileron, but you can see that they had planned on a standard size servo. That's all got to get bigger. One servo here in the flap, and I'll have to remove all those mounts too, and to get my bigger servos in there. They might have had a digital high torque servo or something like that, but mine's all analog, fairly old school. I like analog over digital on these, just especially them flaps. Them flaps are about 5 inches in depth and 5 feet long.
Wow!
So to hold a flap with a digital servo for that area, that'd be a lot of draw.
Yeah,
on your electronics.
Definitely.
So,
well, it looks good, man. What you're doing there.
Yeah, you can see all the stripping I've done. This isn't complete. This was just so I could make the repairs I want. There's still some Bondo and stuff that all these edges were very poorly fit. So I put in new tape all the way around those. Same with this one here.
Wow.
See all the new tapes and supports I put in there.
Wow.
But it all goes together fairly easily.
Yeah, it looked like a good fit. You're doing something right.
Yeah, Phil does excellent work.
So you're talking having this ready by July.
Yeah. I've got a friend that's pretty sick right now. I hope to get up and visit him over the weekend. And if I do, my schedule next week looks pretty free. So here, I would imagine in the next week or two, I might be able to assemble the airplane in complete form and start doing engine tests. We'll see.
That'd be nice.
We'll see. It all depends on how my radio installation goes.
Yeah.
But I've got the mechanicals all figured out, and I've been 3 days getting this wing done, so it shouldn't take but a day and a half to get the other one done. Now that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, normally the first one's always the toughest to figure out.
Yeah.
So is that the only project you're working on right now? You got some others in the making?
Well, there is always unfinished business, right?
Yeah.
As I look back here, I see a third scale Stearman. I'll walk over to it. I framed this up maybe 6 years ago.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So it's still waiting in the wings. Our good friend Tomas with Legend Hobby.
Yes, sir.
I received a couple boxes from him. I didn't even open them.
Yeah.
They went straight into my storage trailer.
Yeah.
Because if I open another kit, it'll just start slowing down progress on the B-17. But that's his Army Chipmunk, the camo Chipmunk.
Yeah. That's nice.
And it's close to the same scale as this airplane, so those two ought to fit together really good under a awning.
Yeah, well, like I said, Wayne and I have got stuff that we've got to get broke in and flown, man. It's just been the weather and then Wayne had to leave. And right when we were getting ready to break things in, we've got 3 planes right now. We've actually got to get the engines broke in on those. Dave over at Dave's RC Electronics sent me new retract controllers in the mail for the T28 because I was telling them earlier, if you heard, the original retract controller that I got from him, for some reason, it's not communicating with the JP controller because his retract, his door sequencer is working great for the doors, but then the doors are either open or closed when the gear won't come down, And
Yeah.
he says there's something not communicating with that JP controller, and he said that tends to be a problem sometimes with those. So he was kind enough to send me out 2 more to try, and hopefully we can get this problem taken care of. Because other than breaking it in and getting the doors and the retracts working, she'll be ready to go. So,
Yeah. Dave's a great guy, and
he
he's
is.
excellent support. He helped me with all the gear controllers on my big B26 also. So, yeah, his equipment is nice and very affordable.
Yeah, typically, if you don't know what you want, he can make it for you.
Yeah,
That's the
you're
nice thing.
absolutely right there.
He did all the lights on the T28 for me, and so we've got all those installed and working. So hopefully we can get these gears worked out. And if we need to, this new control board that he sent me will totally bypass the JP controller, and
Yeah,
we'll work everything, the doors and the control for the retracts off of this. So we'll see what happens one way or another. We're gonna figure it out. But but yeah. So you're gonna make it out to the Bomber Field event this year.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I've promised those guys for the last 2 or 3 years that I'd be there, and last year was an odd year. I didn't go to a single event, not even a local event of all things.
Wow.
I promised my wife, I said, watch this. I'm not going to go to a single event this year. And she said, yeah, right. So I didn't, just to prove to her I could.
Well, I tell you, that's tough, man. But like I said, we had our fly in for spring about a month ago. And fortunately, we had a great turnout, but it was cold, and which is not typical here. We did have a headwind coming down the runway, which people were able to fly. We sold out of food. We sold a lot of raffle tickets due to Legend Hobby, High Tech, a lot of our great sponsors. Scale RC Engines was a sponsor as well. So we've got some great people that help us out around here and make our events really good because that's how we raise money for the club.
Sure.
So and Tomas has always been good about sending us nice planes to give away, and we actually gave away the Maxi Lift at our fly-in this spring, the big one. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so that was
The
nice.
candy dropper.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually, like I said, everybody was really excited about it, and then we had a good turnout. I'm missing Null this year. I wish I could be there, but I hear it's muddy right now with all the rain.
They had a lot of rain a day or two ago. You're right.
Yeah, so hopefully the rest of the week will pan out for them, man, because they had a lot of vendors there this year, from what I understand. They had several people doing walkarounds. Fitz was just on right before the show. He was down at Joe Nall doing some walkarounds and things like that too. He always gives really interesting videos. I like watching his stuff too. But yeah, man. So maybe we'll get down to Bomber Field too this year, and we'll get to see you in person. And I'll get to see this airplane in person.
Well, good. You'll like it. It's extremely, extremely realistic to see it fly.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. That's going to be a big event. And Phil Camp, he's got his 17 all riveted up and looking amazing.
Yeah, he does.
He's done a really good job on that airplane. Hopefully, he's going to get a maiden soon. He's waiting on good weather too. So
yeah,
I swear, man, I look at your shop behind you, and it's just like a vast, extensive array of. It's like all airplane stuff. I think is really cool.
You want a quick tour?
Absolutely, man. I'd love it.
Okay. I get a lot of questions and comments on how I set up my shop, and This is about the third time I've set up an RC airplane building shop. So I'll show you what I do, guys. And it's worked out well for me.
Yeah, let's see it.
Out of high school, I spent 15 years as a carpenter. So a lot of my tools are carpenter tools. But you'd be amazed at how much of this stuff I use to build airplanes. So let's just start right here. The old 1978 Sanyo TV, 1973 Panasonic 8-track AM.
Yeah, boy.
FM.
Yeah, I love it.
1990 Magnavox DVD combo 8-track.
And the sad part is they're still going strong.
They are, oh man, forever.
Yeah. They don't make
Ever.
stuff like that
And
anymore, man.
So all my collection of, all my Warbird documentaries and so on, that plays in the background constantly. So
That's cool.
anyways, and then pegboard, guys, that always works well.
Yep.
A lot of my tools kind of go with whatever workbenches by it. So I've got a huge wooden vise and stuff here. This is kind of my area. Well, you can actually, this is a furniture vise, obviously, but
That's nice.
all my soldering and stuff, I use this area here, my heavy cutters and so on.
Some call those a knee vise, don't they?
What's that?
Some call that a knee vise, don't they?
Yeah.
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 That's nice.
So anyways, a lot of my tools I duplicate so that I never have to walk from one end of the shop to the other. And you'll see that as we go along here.
Hey, David, that means your shop's too big if you don't want to walk from one end to the other.
I'm just old and crusty.
Most of us can reach across the shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's all my granddaughter's artwork she sends me, and then hey, look at there.
Yeah. Oh man.
We got a P51 label in there. See that?
That's cool. Love it.
Oh yeah, and you should see the shot glass. Yeah. Specimen cups.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. Color resembles it too.
Yeah.
So anyways, then I've got a board here with all the RTL stuff. I buy their stuff.
Yeah. Love it.
So that's a nice set of hardware. It looks like a lot until you get over to all these boxes.
Yeah.
Hardware here.
Yeah.
This is all from the crashed airplanes over the years.
Oh man. Gosh.
So I save all that.
Oh, I save everything, man. It's sad the things that we do save.
Yeah. The countertop and these cabinets that run all the way down there. There was on Facebook Marketplace a local guy here in the Ozarks that wanted to remodel a room, and he had cabinets he wanted to get rid of, and this counter. And he says if you can take them out, you can have them. So boy, I was all over that. So
yeah,
that's
you let him know real quick that you were a carpenter and you could handle that job, right?
Yeah. So that's all secondhand, and then here's all my paints and glues.
Yeah.
Small bins and parts.
I love the organization, man. I'm all about being organized.
Lots of little tools, razor saws, and all the screwdrivers and that stuff.
That's nice.
Stuff that I haven't even found a place to use yet. This was handy. That's a little table saw.
Yeah.
And sander, right angle sander with a separate power supply. So these things plug in and go up there. So little hobby table saw. It's good for balsa. If you go much more than a 16th inch of plywood, it starts bogging down.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, man.
Radial arm for the big stuff. More nuts and bolts. A wood lathe.
Damn.
different electronics. This is always handy.
Yeah, I'd have a ball at your house, man.
But like I say, I stand here in the middle of this padded floor and do all my work. So if I'm right here and I need all my basics is right here in always right at hand.
Right.
And a lot of other stuff that I would need is right behind me. I use a lot of trash cans around the shop.
Yep.
So that no matter where I'm at, I can keep up with that. Boy, the
Yep.
handiest thing I did was put this vacuum in a blank spot.
Yep.
And that just trails along here and hangs here. So I can keep my workspace pretty cleaned up real easy without plugging and unplugging and streaming.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over the actual workbench here a little bit. It's kind of unique. I built it out of 3/4 inch plywood. It was built to this height right here.
Right.
Then you can see these legs. There's
Mhm.
1, 2, 3 in that row. Then every 2 foot, there's 3 of those legs. And this upper surface is 2 1/4 inch solid core door and adjust up. Got to be built or a fuselage on crutch. The first thing I do is get out a straight edge and make sure that the workbench top is all in plane. And it's rare that I have to tweak it, but once in a while you got to tweak your top.
Yeah.
So all those, it's kind of like a computer floor that way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And then that leaves this all open between the actual workbench height here down to the top where I can keep all my building materials in there. So that's handy too. It's just kind of all right here in this one space.
That's super nice, man. God, I'm envious.
So that's what's worked out for me.
That is very nice. And like I said, I love the organization because I'm all about organization. I can't stand it when people don't put things back where they get it or they leave a mess when they're done. I can't stand it. It drives me insane. So I go over to one of my buddy's shops and do work. He's got a big 5,000 square foot man cave. And people come in there and use his stuff and they don't clean up behind themselves. And I'm in there cleaning and putting things away. And he's like, that's why I like having you over here because you clean up behind yourself. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you if somebody's letting you use their place, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, but people take advantage of it and they come over and they don't care and they leave a mess. So, yeah. Let's see that fuselage again, man. Show us that beautiful fuselage.
Okay.
That is nice
Front
looking.
half. There's the business end.
Yeah. That looks awesome. Man. Love the detail. That is so cool. The scale, everything. God. People don't understand the time that's wrapped up in that right there.
I'll get these 2 bolts out of here and we'll pull this upper latch and let you see the cockpit again.
Yeah, that looks so good. Again, how many hours do you have in just the detail inside there?
Well, let's see. It's I've been working on this one just about a year now, and there's times when I'll go a week at a time and not be out of the shop for more than just sleeping.
Gosh. So yeah, you can't even calculate the hours you got into that.
Oh no, if I kept track of it, it would scare me, and I'd probably get out of the hobby.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man, because I know how it is just doing the things I do. And if you're peculiar about things, and I'm very peculiar, I like scale, I like things done right too. That kind of stuff takes time, man. You know, I go to the field and I see guys open a hatch and it looks like they threw a wad of wires inside, you know, and I'm like, oh, I just want to clean it up for them, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
It drives me insane. You know, I've got everything labeled, you know, and they don't even know what wire's what, you know.
Well, I'm struggling coming up with the right bit to get that out of there. Maybe it's this one that's already in my screwdriver. Well, there it is.
That's how it works, right?
And the last thing I did. Anyways, this upper hatch is held on by these in the back. And in the front is just two dowels.
Yeah.
I'll just move it back there, and now you can see the cockpit again.
Man, that looks nice. Gosh. And you did all that.
That is a 3D printed kit that's available from iFly Tallies.
Okay. All right.
So everyone, there's nothing assembled. You get the gauges, you get the printed parts, and nothing's painted. So you got to sit there with tweezers and
yeah.
put all your little switches in there. I've had several guys tell me his face looks a little pale.
That's great.
And I've told him, I said, well, if you went through 132 missions, you might look pale too.
Exactly, no doubt. Man,
so,
that looks amazing. God.
Can you see the grip of his right hand on the throttles?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's the way they flew it. It was an underhand airplane.
Wow.
And depending on which group, the mid group right there where he's at, you were in control of all engines. If you moved your hand up a set, then it was just the outboard engines. And then if you moved your hand down a set, then it was just the inboard engines.
Wow.
And they're split also, so it's left and right. You could twist them and get differential power.
Dang. That looks just incredible, man. That looks awesome. God.
You can see the spar boxes there.
Yeah. God. You've already got that part painted too, don't you?
The fuselage, yes. And that's all Cali Graphics. I've worked out a scheme. I don't know if it's light enough to see it, but that's Fort Alamo 2, and all of that crew survived the war together in that airplane, 131 missions.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's always fun, looking up the history on all that.
Oh, absolutely. I love the history. They've had some good shows on television lately about making over airplanes and old planes and things like that I've caught on the History Channel and National Geographic. They've actually had some good stuff on lately.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting to learn about the history of these airplanes as well. So, but I so appreciate you giving us your time tonight, man, and showing us this beautiful plane. I can't wait to see it all together. So we got to have part 3 of this because everybody's going to want to see this thing put together, and we want to see it sitting on the ground with its wheels down, and get it before the maiden flight. Man, love the shop, dude.
Yeah.
So I just, like I said, we just appreciate you being on here and showing it to us, man, and talking to us. And like I said, definitely plan on trying to get back on here when you're ready to get this thing sitting where we can see it all in its glory.
You bet. I'll stay in touch, and when it gets to the point where we can fire it up, maybe we can have an evening where you can see it get fired up and taxi around a little bit.
Yeah, that would be great. We'd love to, man. Are you gonna have lights on this thing too?
Minimal.
Okay.
I've got landing lights, and that is it.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is it.
Well, that's good. That's all you need to mess with. Less to have to do. But David, thank you so much, man, for being on tonight, and thanks to Thomas for getting us lined up and everything tonight. And always a pleasure doing stuff with him, and it's good seeing you here again tonight. So I'm gonna let you get back to your afternoon, and obviously back to your work because you've got work to do.
That's right. That's
The
right.
time's a ticking, man, and it'll be
That's
here.
right. July's a coming.
That's right. So, but thank
Okay.
you again, and we will definitely be in touch.
Okay.
See you,
Take
buddy.
care, everybody.
You too, man. See you. Bye.
All right.
Well, there you go, guys. Mr. David Kelly and his beautiful B-17. That's going to be a awesome airplane. I cannot wait to see that thing fly. And I'm hoping that he will get somebody to shoot some good video of it, because I don't think he'll be standing there holding the camera while he's flying the plane. So we definitely need to encourage someone to get a good video of that plane flying, because that would be awesome to see that on YouTube and be able to share it here on the channel with everybody as well. And maybe, hopefully, we can get a sneak peek of this plane before it does the maiden. We can see it taxi and run, as he said, and get to see the finished product. I can't wait, because it's absolutely going to be beautiful, especially with the paint. Once he gets all the sanding and everything finished, it's going to be awesome. And like I said, big airplane. We're talking close to over 19 foot from tip to tip. That's a big plane, man. So I can't imagine. He says it flies great. It's got to, as big as it is. But I can tell you, my pucker factor with all the work and everything else in it would be off the chart. I might have to have somebody stand there and hold my hand or something. I don't know. But like I said, that's a lot of airplane to put up in the air, especially with all the work. That's the thing. You know, we work on these airplanes, we build them, we get them looking good while they're sitting here like this. And as the more stuff you do to them, the more scale you make them, the more effects you put on them, the more everything you do to it, just it drives that fear factor up, because, you know, it's a lot of work and a lot of time. And as David said earlier tonight, you know, the hours that go into building these airplanes, you want to make sure everything's right and check it and check it and check it, because you know, you can't replace your time. You can replace the plane, but you can't replace your time. And I don't know, like I said, this T-28, it's been an undertaking. It's a very extensive airplane, number one. Number two, it's a pretty large build. Wayne's told me numerous times, he said, if you can build this plane and get it flown, you can build anything. Because down to the cockpit and everything on it, you know, it's pretty extensive. The canopy slides. I've got the 3D printed cockpit in there from Scale RC Engines. We've got the radial printed from Scale RC Engines as well. And they're actually at Joe Nall this week with an awesome display too. So if you guys get down there, stop by and speak to Sean and tell him hello and you saw us here and everything. So, but yeah, this T-28 is pretty extensive, guys. And again, I'm trying to get the retract, the sequencer worked out for the gear doors, because I don't know if you understood me at the beginning of the show, but with the original sequencer that I got from Dave, it worked great as far as the gear doors, the nose gear door and the main gear doors. It worked great. I could speed it up, slow it down. The doors would open, they closed properly, but the gear wouldn't come down until the doors were either open or closed. They wouldn't. So for instance, let's say the gear door opened, okay, and I hit gear up. Okay, well, the gear door would open up and they'd wait to the delay that I had, and then they would close, and then the gear would want to go up after the doors closed. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not right. Wayne and I tried everything, man. We did everything to figure out what could be going on, and we couldn't figure out anything. So I called Dave last, I think it was Thursday, and I talked to Dave at Dave's RC Electronics about the situation. And in doing so, Dave told me that he believed it was something with the JP controller, that the signal from the sequencer that I got from him was working properly, but for some reason the JP controller was not putting the gear up with the signal that it gets from the controller. before the doors closed. And so therefore, he said, so I've seen problems with those JP controllers before. He said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you out a different sequencer, which is this one. And let's see if this fixes the problem with the JP controller. If it does not fix the problem with the JP controller, we are going to totally bypass and get rid of the JP controller. And this right here is in sense, a JP controller, but it's Dave's controller with all of the nose gear and the main gear servo leads coming off of it, as well as everything that works the gear doors. And also, it's got landing lights on it if I chose to add those into the wings. I already have landing lights, but who knows? I might do something different with these. Light up the canopy or the cockpit. There you go. I might do that. But but yeah, this runs off of it's got a Dean's plug, which I have a pack over here that has a Dean's connector on it as well that we will plug into this should we go with this. So one way or another, we're going to get this thing working. And Dave, I could not have asked for him to have been any more helpful in helping me figure this out. He was very kind to send this out to me. So if you guys need anything electronic for your airplane, from lights to retract controllers to gear door sequencers to whatever, Dave can make it if he don't have it, and he can get you fixed up, and he's very good. He'll talk to you. You can call him on the phone. I'll show you again. Let's see, where is it at? Here's his card, and there's his number and information. And you can reach out to him anytime, and he will fix you up. And especially if you let him know what plane you're putting this stuff in, he can, pretty much build you a system. So yeah, Dave's RC Electronics, great to work with, great customer service. And as always, thank you to High Tech Electronics, ZoomRC.net. Marshall at ZoomRC says you guys use code JCRC10 for 10% off of anything there, which saves you money. And big, huge shout out to Legend Hobby. They're so good to us over there. And Tomas is always sending us stuff. And we got a lot of planes we got to get up in the air for him. Hopefully the weather will cooperate soon and the wind will quit blowing. So, again, a lot of people are having wind this year. I think the jet stream's coming right over North Carolina and going up north. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get all this stuff straightened out soon and be able to get some good flights in once Wayne gets back. Like I said, he's out in California. His dad is not doing well, so send your prayers to him and let him know you're thinking about him. But hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's show with David Kelly with his B-17. Maybe learn a little history about the plane. Also, maybe learn something about, building a plane. That's kind of what we enjoy doing here, helping you guys out. So, and if you have any questions or anything, hit us up in the comments and we'll try to answer them for you. And if we can't answer them, we'll try to find somebody that can. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Be safe, get some good flights in. Happy weather, hopefully, is coming our way, and it's going to get hot by the weekend. So it's supposed to be in the 90s here, so maybe the weather will hold out. It's okay, Jeff. You can check it out later, man. I appreciate you stopping in anyway. Always good to have you here. But thanks to all you guys. You make the channel happen, too. You're great sponsors of the channel, as always, because without you, we wouldn't care to be here. So thanks, guys. We hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday night. Hopefully, Wayne will be back. But if not, you get a deal with me. Have a good night, guys. Take care. Be safe.